there was a worldwide internet outage due to Amazon's AWS systems being down. It affected a lot of companies, a lot of governments around the world, and it just goes to show how vulnerable we really are. And at the same exact time, they're trying to push that the world should have digital IDs when they can't even keep the internet up. So let's take a look at some of this stuff, the AWS outage, some of the companies affected, and some of the strange occurrences with this and how serious this actually is on just the fact that we are all connected to some of these massive companies, as well as the digital ID stuff, because again, that has to be highlighted in the fact when they're like, oh yeah, let's just all sign up to where we're all controlled on the internet. Oh wait, we can't even keep the internet up. Yeah, that's not a very good idea. So here's some of the news on it. We'll get started here.
A massive global internet outage has taken down many of the world's biggest websites and apps after a failure in Amazon Web Services, AWS, the cloud network that powers much of the modern internet. Platforms including Snapchat, Duolingo, Zoom, and Roblox were all affected, alongside major UK banks such as Lloyds, Halifax, and Bank of Scotland.
I just want to say real quick, it makes me think, so they keep the banks are affected, right? And then we have the government shut down in America for so long. Are we still paying taxes while the government's being shut down? How about in the UK? Like, do people have to pay taxes when their bank system's down and all that? Or should they still sign up for the digital ID? I mean, you know, we should be asking these questions right in their face when they're trying to constantly take away our freedoms and our rights through their technocratic authoritarian takeover.
Online services and apps were briefly inaccessible. Even government websites and online shopping platforms reported disruptions. AWS, Amazon's cloud computing division, provides the digital infrastructure used by millions of companies and organizations around the world, from entertainment and banking to healthcare and logistics. According to Amazon, the outage began around midnight Pacific time and was linked to a malfunction in one of its core data systems located in Northern Virginia, which handles a significant share of global traffic. When an outage of this scale happens, many immediately suspect a cyber attack. Security experts have warned that the internet's critical infrastructure is far more fragile than most people realize. However, Amazon says there's currently no evidence of a cyber attack or
no evidence of a cyber attack or malicious attack at all. And it is weird, right? And then it's just, isn't it strange to think, I mean, they show this picture here of this in Virginia. I mean, that just small section of land on the entire earth. When just that little thing starts to have problems, then we have, you know, bank things shut down. I was dealing with multiple pretty big serious company stuff that were shut down. I mean, and the government, tax system, banks around the world from that little tiny plot of land. I mean, is that safe? Is that smart? And I mean, and these people want us to get digital IDs. They want us to get RFID chips in our hand or to put all of our money online, biometric data at birth now in Mexico. I mean, that's what they want us to do. And everything is being controlled in these little tiny buildings like that. I mean, come on, that's just absolutely insane. It was even affecting some of the workers at Amazon, these people, and it just goes to show how like seriously connected into the internet we are. And that's how they want us to be, to where we can't buy or sell or do anything without our connection to this, you know, technological system.
Amazon closure at 3 a.m. in the morning. They have no answers for us. We've been sitting here for about 30-45 minutes.
I had a shift at 3:30 a.m. And when I got here at 3:20, there were people standing outside. I'm trying to sign into my app and it's not working. I'm walking up and I hear the people from inside saying that the app is down, like the whole store is down, and they can't help us. We have to call support. Not even call support, email support, because the phone's not working.
Kind of scary, right? And we'll get into that here in just a minute on some of the EMP stuff and just, again, how connected we are to this technological system and the system, again, that they want us to be completely dialed into on every level. So here's some more of the news that came out on this, and just some of the companies and organizations and businesses and government programs that were affected by this massive outage.
Following this major internet outage that affected daily life for millions of Americans today, the internet outage crippling websites, apps, services in the US and around the world affected. Now, the problem was linked to Amazon Web Services. They do global data storage that so many of these companies rely on for their own services. So when it went down,
let's just take a look at some of this stuff just to get a look at it. And again, this is only some of it. So we got news organizations, television, streaming services, Signal, which is like supposedly, yeah, that's what this symbol is here. Signal, a supposedly encrypted, safe texting, doesn't even work, and actually it's really not. It's been proven to be hackable. Food, Starbucks, I mean, all this stuff. So this is stretching a pretty massive, you can just see how many companies and the tentacles of AWS, how far it goes. I mean, is it really safe to have all of our companies connected to one cloud service like this? Doesn't seem very safe.
Cascade of companies affected, popular apps, online shopping, airline ticketing, social media, gaming, all included. Tonight, they say the problem is fixed. So what was it? And they say it will take some time now to get up and running at proper speed for so many of these programs.
Again, these are the types of opportunities that like people in the UK, in my opinion, should take full advantage of. This was affecting the UK. The next video talks about that. We'll look at that too. They should be all up in their face saying, you want us to have a digital ID and you can't even keep our internet up. You want us to have a digital ID and you can't even have our banks running or our fee services or our digital currency systems. I mean, right? They all want us to have digital money, and now they can't even have the Starbucks app working or the McDonald's app working, and they want us to all have our money online. Clearly they don't know how to control it. I mean, they're giving the banks and governments and companies like this and the New York Times and all this stuff are being run off of Amazon buildings in Virginia. I mean, give me a break. Should we really trust all of our stuff into that? I don't think so.
Here's Matt Rivers tonight.
Millions of businesses use Amazon Web Services to store their data and run their applications and services.
We are constantly expanding our global network of AWS regions.
So when Amazon reported a massive outage overnight, it sent shockwaves around the world.
There was sort of a cascade of failures. Now it sort of takes a cascade to get everything working again.
Amazon Web Services, or AWS, is essentially a massive cloud-based IT storage facility for businesses. The website Down Detector, which is a crowdsourced online outages tracker listing dozens of companies with reports of problems, from Venmo to Ring doorbell cameras to the Starbucks app. The outage reported at 3:11 a.m. Eastern Time.
If you go to your banking website, you're trying to book airplane tickets on their website, or you're using a messaging app, all of those different companies are basically renting computers and services in one of these large data centers.
Experts say that's the risk of running so much internet traffic through a single provider, and so many companies had issues today. Everything from ordering food from McDonald's to placing a bet on FanDuel to telling your friends about it on Snapchat. By 6:35 a.m. Eastern Time, Amazon reporting the underlying DNS issue has been fully mitigated. But outage reports for AWS continue this afternoon, according to Down Detector.
Even once they fix some of those problems, there's going to be a big backlog, and there'll be errors that will take some time to get worked out.
And David, that outage even causing ticketing issues for tonight's ALCS Game 7. That issue, though, resolved just before game time.
So, yeah, I mean, in my opinion, what it just brings to mind to me mainly is that this is like the perfect opportunity for us to say, we shouldn't be putting all of our trust into your systems if you can't even control it and you can't even, you don't even know how to divvy it up. And not only that, but is it really smart to have one company or one little building to control so many massive things? Like there should be fail safes in place and, backup options for how to get these things running when like the banks and pretty big things like Venmo, some people use that to spend like all their money and that system's not even working. Like there should be backups in place for that. And, again, we should use this as an opportunity to say, if you can't even control that, what are we going to do trusting you with digital ID or putting all of our money into some digital Fed dollar or the Euro dollar, which is coming very soon?
Okay, breaking news. Hundreds of apps and websites are down right now after a major worldwide internet outage. Here's what we know. Government websites, banks, social media platforms, gaming networks, crypto exchanges. I mean, you name it, it was probably down or is still down by the time you're watching this. Now, we do know the root cause of all of this, and it seems to be Amazon Web Services in the United States. That's basically Amazon's cloud computing division, which is used by millions of large companies around the world. We're talking Snapchat, Roblox, WhatsApp, PlayStation, Fortnite, Clash of Clans, Zoom, Coinbase, Ring doorbells, even the UK's tax website. And the list goes on. Does that mean no tax today? I don't know. Maybe, hopefully. Now, currently, and this is going to come as no shock to anyone, they have no idea what the cause of this is currently. But they are saying, they say we see signs of recovery. But it is yet another wild reminder just how much can be affected from one issue on the other side of the world. I'll keep you guys.
Absolutely crazy. So let's get into a little bit of the information surrounding the EMP stuff. But first, I just want to show, at the same time that we're now learning that so many companies have their systems and are completely dependent on Amazon's AWS cloud service. Worth noting is that this is something that's been rolling out in Amazon controlled Whole Foods. They've got these little stores called like Amazon One in Whole Foods, I'm pretty sure is what they are, around the world. Worth paying attention to this little tidbit of information here.
Amazon has launched a new payment system allowing you to pay with your palm across Whole Food stores. The new system, called Amazon One, lets customers assign a card to their unique palm signature, which is then sent to a secure cloud area and stored. Customers will then be able to pay for their goods by simply
Secure cloud area and stored that may just not work on occasions.
hovering the palm of their hand over a palm reader to pay. According to Amazon, it offers a contactless alternative to app and card payments.
So again, Amazon has said that they weren't hacked. It wasn't something malicious that happened that brought them down, but who knows? Maybe it was, would they even come out and tell us that if they did, and they knew that nobody had to know? If only like three people knew, they could easily keep that a secret. So here they have now all these people's palms in their data center, and they can't even keep the thing on, and the thing may have even been hacked. So it's like, again, let's use these opportunities to show, and to always remind people in the past, like when it comes to America, when they try to bring the digital ID here, or when they try to push this whole palm scan thing to pay in more places around the world or in America, we'll say, well, here's Amazon's one. Oh, and yeah, remember just the other day when Amazon didn't even work and all these companies were down and it was hacked and you couldn't even access your money, access your stores, and you couldn't even buy food from McDonald's? So yeah, let's give our palm information data to them. I don't think so. We'll watch a couple of these videos here just because I think it is important to keep in mind. Don't want to really spread the fear of this stuff, because honestly, this is such a massive event. If this were to happen, that it's almost like the Bible would have to be in scripture, because it would just be such a earth-shattering event. And I think we're so close to the end times that it doesn't really make sense to me that we would see such a earth-shattering event not mentioned in the Bible. And again, maybe this is something that happens in the future. This could definitely happen to different nations. An EMP attack where our technological systems are completely attacked and wiped out completely. There's some information in these videos that I think are at least worth noting, and then we'll look at a video on the digital ID.
So when I come home at night, I throw it in there, it blocks the signal. They can't listen through it. They can't, you know what I mean?
Turning it off doesn't matter, by the way.
Yeah,
they're talking about your phone, or any technology. If you turn any technology off, your phone, your laptop, all that stuff, computer, they can still access it. Even if it's completely off, they can still access it. In the past, people used to take their batteries out of their phones to where it couldn't even be accessed when it was off then. But now they're saying that there's even ways for them to access your phone with the battery pulled out. And what a coincidence. Now all the phones and all the smartphones that come out, you can't even take the back off to pull the battery out. Is that a coincidence? Pretty interesting. So here they're talking about Faraday cages, which is just like a metal thing. You can make it out of like a metal trash can. You can make it out of tinfoil. You can buy them, but where you just put your technology in this device and it completely shuts it off from the outside, which is really the only way to talk around technology and for it to not be accessed, is if it's completely 100% disconnected from power or in a Faraday cage.
Phone off. Just turn the phone off. No, take the battery. If you can take the battery out,
you got to block all signal, right?
Yeah.
Unless I'm missing something.
No, everything I know, and I don't know a lot, but everything I do know from friends at NSA, and we can listen.
Yeah. Yeah. And we are listening.
Yeah.
So these two guys who worked in the military, worked in Sean Ryan, the CIA, they have their buddies in these agencies, and they say that even if you pull the battery out of the phone, or if you turn the phone off, it can be accessed. So keep that in mind, because hey, it's just crazy to think about, really. I mean, we people have the right to privacy and to say what they want or to think what they want. I mean, just like Klaus Schwab saying, if you haven't done anything wrong, then what do you have to worry about? Well, it's not that. It's just that, even if we never talk about anything that doesn't even matter, do you want the government or the NSA and whatever kind of weirdo behind that technology at the NSA or at any of these agencies is sitting and listening in or accessing your cameras, accessing your microphones? You really want that? Even if you don't say anything, you have a right to privacy. And these people are completely violating it time and time again. One more video here on EMP stuff, just to keep in mind, and then we'll look at a digital ID video to end off this.
Bob Hall knows a lot about EMP detonation and balloons in the atmosphere, and he describes how balloons are the perfect vehicle. Balloons, it kind of sounds like something that just happened. How high altitude balloons are the perfect vehicle to detonate an EMP to basically take out the United States and soften everybody up first. Here, take a listen.
We know it's real. And the EMP threat, we have known about this. Matter of fact, a balloon was used in 1958 to lift the first 1 megaton bomb up to about 85,000 feet to detonate it to see what would happen. And lo and behold, they got this huge electromagnetic pulse that surprised everyone. Well, they thought that was big, but it wasn't until about 4 years later in the early 60s when they started launching them much higher, a couple hundred nautical miles into outer space before setting them off. And the pulse got even bigger. It got so big that it was knocking out the power grid in the island, and we had to stop testing. Russians experienced the same thing.
So, Senator, you're telling me the higher up it goes, the worse the event of the EMP, rather than being just, a few thousand feet above the city of Chicago or, God forbid, city of Dallas, where I live.
Oh, absolutely. A near ground burst will have a lot of local impact with the kinetics, like happened in Japan. But high in the atmosphere, it's still going off in the atmosphere, and its effect of line of sight is line of sight. And so getting above the atmosphere, then you get it from coast to coast and border to border. But what the mechanism is that if high in the atmosphere, you won't get the kinetics from it. You won't get things blown up. Nobody will be killed. No animals hurt, trees hurt, or anything. But the gamma rays coming off of that nuclear detonation will impact the particles in the atmosphere, knocking the electrons loose, which then are affected by the Earth's magnetic field and starts to swirl, and that'll induce a very, very high 2,000 volts per meter current in anything electrical and electronic, and will burn up everything that is electrical electronic in line of sight of it.
So, again, I'm all into kind of like reading the signs. The signs are everywhere. We see that commercial about that college. It's the signs are. So communists have been warning us now, Joe, for decades, if not centuries, about the long march to institutions. They've been taking over our institutions, collaborating with politicians.
So, that's something to, keep in mind, because they have this capability. They could definitely do this. They could even just do it on the coastal regions because it wouldn't get shot down, or if it did get shot down, it would still blow up in the sky and create this EMP around the nation. They could do this all across the world. I mean, it's kind of insane to think that they have these weapons and that there's like just a handful of people who really have the capability to wipe out entire nations across the world. It is pretty wild to think about. And again, that would be such a massive event. It would be huge. It would be massive. I mean, and that could play into some of the stuff that happens during the Great Tribulation. But to think of like an entire nation being EMP'd, wiped out, could be Great Tribulation, because it'll be like unlike anything the world has ever seen. But I don't put too much fear into that, because I think, it would be so massive of a thing that it's just like, I think that we're going to be moving more closer to the other things unfolding in the world. And again, it would just be like mutual destruction if one of these nations did even do that. So nobody really does it. But it's kind of scary, at least when you think that we had these balloons, right? These Chinese balloons just floating around in our skies. And we're just like, oh, okay, yeah, there they are. They're here. They've completely breached our airspace, and that could just easily have a nuclear weapon sitting on it, blows up, and wipes out the electronics in like a massive section of the country. So kind of crazy, scary to think about for sure. So we'll end this whole digital technology kind of crazy video off on just a little update on, well, not update, but just Joe Rogan talking about this whole digital ID thing, because it has to be pushed back against. Pray for the people in the UK, because their government has just completely lost their mind with everything, with the immigration that they've allowed out of hand, which they've used to create this problem. Now they say, oh, it's such a big, massive problem now that they have to institute the digital ID. Terrible politicians over there. They're pushing Islam, which commands that Islam says that they should be killing unbelievers and taxing them or kicking them out of the land. And they're just welcoming them in, promoting them like it's such an amazing, great thing to have more Islam. Anyway, it's crazy. No, it shouldn't be in any society around the world. It's the most oppressive, demonic, violent religion and mindset that's practically ever been created in the entire earth. It is, actually, as far as I know. So let's take a listen to this, and again, be in prayer for those people over in the UK, because it's just going downhill fast. Planned destruction of the West is what we're seeing.
Pushing digital ID on these people, and once they do digital ID, they're going to attach it to a social credit score. Yep. They're going to attach it to a carbon footprint score, and then they'll be able to control your movement and control you entirely. And most importantly, they've already arrested 12,000 people for social media posts.
That's insane.
Above and beyond every other country, way above Russia. Russia was like 400 last year. The UK is 12,000. Any criticism of immigration, any criticism of grooming gangs and people being raped, any talk about how horrible this is, they come visit you. It's like someone's trying to destroy England. It's literally like they've got a concerted effort to destroy England, and they're getting away with it.
Yeah, and what happens over there?
It's really crazy. It's really crazy to watch because the mass immigration's not an accident. If I was going to destroy a country, I would do it exactly the way they're doing it. I'd take away their freedom, take away their ability to protest, take away their guns, which they did in the 90s, and then you start tightening that noose. Tighter and tighter, add more restrictions, more this, more that.
And that's exactly what they're doing. It's actually pretty interesting when you look at the UK. I mean, that country has massive cliffs around, obviously, the ocean. And so it's pretty hard to actually breach the UK. And there's like a pretty small sliver of land where actually the majority of these illegal immigrants are even crossing over. And it's just wide open for them. They could easily completely stop that out because, again, it's from a pretty small area that the majority of these illegal immigrants are coming over there from. It's not like the United States where you see this massive, multiple state long section of, border where we're having our illegal immigration problem from. So we have that there. And so it's like, they're just allowing it on purpose. And then again, now all of a sudden, they care so much, you need a digital ID. They create the problem, they allow the problem, and then they bring in their solution that they want. They're trying to do it with the digital ID, with the digital medicine that the WF is trying to push so we can watch and make sure that people are taking their medicines right. I mean, this is the direction that we're moving. And they're really going to be using technology to 100% push forth all of these agendas. So again, while we're seeing that technology is faulty and it's not always perfect and there's these problems, people should just around the world be saying there's zero chance we're allowing the governments of the world to control our lives with technology beyond what it is now. And even they need to take away what it is even now. And that because they should have no right to be doing that when it's so faulty. It could be hacked. It could be corrupted. It could be destroyed with an EMP. We just should not be giving any of our lives over to the technological systems that are being controlled by these governments around the world. Pray for discernment. Pray for God to lead you in these times. The only way to God the Father is through his Son, Jesus Christ. If you don't know him, pray to him today. He loves you. He died for you and your sins. God bless.